We're back on the Kingdom Mandate podcast, and we're talking Kingdom Health Matters. And we're pretty excited about this one, Pastor Reggie. We got Dr. Davis coming back to join us.
Yes, we do. This is part 2. And Dr. Davis, he's going to talk with us and kind of pick up where we left off last time. I know we got a lot of tweets asking about grilling, versus smoked meats. And so, yeah.
That was a pretty heavy hitter.
It was.
Right,
so, put some fear in some people about, what they're gonna do now.
I ain't gonna lie, it hurt my feelings a little bit because I have a grill full of charcoal now. Right. That is just asking to be lit.
There you go. Put the fire on it, right?
Only thing missing.
Here's the thing, though. We don't. A lot of things, if we just don't know, we just don't know. And then when someone brings it to your attention after you've been doing it for years, it's like, man, come on now. But he's going to bring some insight to this as well, because it's not an end all. I don't believe, but definitely information we need to know, right?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I want to address, we're going to address in this first here segment before we go to our guest. Mm-hmm. A lot of people ask, well, what does these health matters in particular, like, coming on, you're talking with a GI doctor, what does this have to do with the kingdom?
Right. Well,
we're Kingdom Mandate Ministries. And so what does this have to do with the kingdom?
Right. Well, it really has a lot to do with the kingdom. Part of the mission, Yeshua sent the disciples out, and he sends us out as disciples as well. Our health plays a very vital role in our ability to witness this message of the kingdom. You have to be in health, and you have to be in great shape, because if we are to be an example to others, then that's not only an example as far as the spiritual side, but example in the natural realm. How are we living? How are we looking? How are we keeping ourselves? So it's very important, because if you're unhealthy, and you're trying to promote this message, what is that saying? What is that saying about the God we serve?
Right. And as we're going to talk that up a little bit in a later episode too, about the things that we see.
Yeah.
Things that we see and how it kind of plays into our mindset. But I don't want to give away too much of that episode coming, because I think we're about maybe 2 episodes out from that particular topic. Right. But it serves to say that if we are spreading the message of the kingdom, we've got to look the part.
We got to look the part. Absolutely.
Got to look the part. And
totally agree.
Not every single emphasis on physical stature and, the stuff that we wear and jewelry and all of those things will come and go. Sure. But in terms of how we look and in terms of the health that we keep ourselves in, it says a lot, about what you said about the God that we serve. How's God been so good to you? And you can't make it up a flight of steps.
Right.
So,
and it's a personal thing too. I think, personally, you should want to feel better, and whenever you can, eat better too. I think last episode we talked about, certain circumstances, there are food deserts in certain locations. So the availability of quality foods is scarce. So keeping everything in perspective, though, as much as you possibly can, we want to eat better as much as we can. We want to, just try here and there. Not to and here's the thing, not to condemn anyone either, because a lot of times, people will get to a particular place and they're doing better and, eating better and they'll look down on those who are less fortunate. And that's not what we're doing here at all. I just want to highlight some things that can be done, some minor changes that can be made, and just highlight that,
So let's go to the Bible. Let's talk about 1 Corinthians chapter 6. Okay. And there's, at that last part of chapter 6, verses 12 to 20, a lot of instruction there where it comes to honoring the Most High with our bodies.
There we go.
And in particular, Apostle Paul opens up talking about what is lawful but not expedient.
Right.
Body being made for food being made for the body. There are certain things that I can do the body is designed to do. I can take a crayon and put it in my mouth and chew it up and swallow it.
Yes, you can.
And nothing in my body will stop me from doing that.
Absolutely not.
And my body will process said crayon.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But the Bible says that doesn't make it a good idea.
Doesn't make it a good idea, right.
And so we can eat certain kinds of food.
Right.
And again, we're talking about, we highlighted in the last episode, we talked about, the quality of food in these food desert locations. Right. And we talked about just making the efforts that we can, doing the best that we can with what's available to us to be mindful of the quality of what we're putting in our bodies.
Right. Sure.
And so the body, so it gives that talk in chapter 12. And then if we jump all the way down, it mentions in verse 18, and we don't want to harbor too long because, the Christian church likes to, we talk about the big three things, right? We talk about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And probably in 2021, we're replacing rock and roll with hip hop. Sex, drugs, and hip hop. We're making sure you say, you're not doing those three things. You on the fast track to heaven, pretty much. That, give or take a few things, but and it talks about sinning outside of the body versus sinning against your own body. So there are some things that we know we shouldn't do. So we're not going to even bring a lot of attention to that. First three words in verse 18 said, flee sexual immorality. You let that hit you where it hits you. You let that hit you where it hits you.
I think people know.
People know. We're not going to waste I don't want to say waste. We're not going to use a whole lot of our time on this podcast talking the things that because the truth of the matter is, as Kingdom Mandate Ministries, and we're pushing the message of the gospel of the kingdom, and that is seek ye first the kingdom of God and its righteousness. Then these first three words, if you're offended by that, go back and check out Matthew chapter 6. Drop a comment below and we'll talk those things out. We don't mind the healthy conversation.
Absolutely.
But the bigger thing is at verse 20. It says that you were bought for you were bought with at a price. Therefore glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which belong to God.
Right. That I think verse 20 says it all. Our bodies belong to the Father because he paid the price, through Yeshua. So, and not that we owe anything to God. We can't owe him, because he is God. He is sovereign. But we can do our very best while we're here on earth to eat as healthy as we can, to, like you say, just because your body will, you'll chew the crayon, you'll swallow, your body will process it just like anything else. That doesn't mean it's good for you. So it's a matter of choices, right? Just let's make healthy choices. And then let's get away from, if I know that a particular food is bad for me, right? I can't thank God for that bad food that I know is bad for me, and he's gonna make it good for my body.
So right? I can't say grace over a salt-filled dish that is going to add to the high blood pressure I already have.
Right. You can't do that. Like where can you do that? You can't do that, man. You can't do that. You can't do that. And then so many people, I've heard a lot of people say, well, man, I can just, I just thank God for this food and he's going to make it clean. He'll make it right. But if you prepared it, right, you prepared it and you know what the contents are, you can't now say, hey man, let me pray to God and he take the sodium out of this high salt food, right?
Right.
We just got to try.
Probably not going to happen. Yeah, we have to just knowing what we know.
Right.
We have to try to do better based on what we know.
Absolutely.
That's the point. That's the point of this show, particularly doing Kingdom Health Matters. Is just trying to get you the information,
right,
so that and we're able to make the necessary adjustments. And for everybody and for every person, that's different. The necessary adjustments are a little bit different. Romans 12:1 mandates for us to present our bodies as living sacrifices. Which mean, and so we talk about a sacrifice and what was offered to God as being pleasing to God. So you go all the way back to Genesis and you talk Cain and Abel, and you talk about the sacrifice, the offering that was acceptable.
Right.
And the one that wasn't acceptable. And in 12:1, present your bodies living sacrifices, holy and what? Acceptable. An acceptable sacrifice. And so
has to be acceptable. Yeah.
If I'm presenting my body, and oftentimes we think of that in along the lines of sexual morality. Present your body as a living sacrifice. But a lot of times we miss the fact that, that holy and acceptable sacrifice could be sometimes filled with McDonald's.
True.
I mean, these are very practical things.
Right. Very right. True. Yeah.
Is an acceptable sacrifice one that's, been filled up with fast food, 30, 40 years worth of fast food,
right?
Or is it one, that has been, on an acceptable diet,
right?
On a proper and healthy diet.
Right.
And listen, we like what we like.
No. Right.
We like what we like. There's a company out there that makes this liquid beverage and they put it in a blue can with a red dot on the front of it and everything else. Let me tell you, sometimes I feel like I can't eat. Sometimes I drink it more than I drink water, and I should. And I know.
Right. There you go.
But so we have our proclivities. We have the things that we like. And one of the things that Dr. Davis pointed out was to do those things, in small amounts and in moderation, the body can handle.
Absolutely.
But the overindulgence.
It's an overload. Yeah. You're overloading your body, man. Now you're doing something else.
Yeah.
Now you're making your body work extra hard now. And then now you have to go and try to balance this out, either consume more water or eat more fruit and then too, a lot of times we need to go, see our physicians for just a regular checkup to kind of see where you are, period. You need to know your blood pressure. You need to know where your cholesterol levels are, your sugar levels. You need to understand that too, so there's a lot behind this. And I think though, having that proper test done, knowing where you are, and then you'll know what foods you can and cannot eat, or how much of these foods you should be consuming, because I think everything it's about moderation, and certain things, if your body's you just don't need, you just have to say no to it, really.
Yeah, and that all of that plays into presenting a healthy body, an acceptable sacrifice,
right?
And so it's not just oh, I'm sinning,
right?
But the things that I do to take care of myself, and the things that I don't do and don't take care of myself, those things they all play together in offering the Lord an acceptable body, our bodies as an acceptable sacrifice.
Very true.
All right.
Very true. I like